I always loved to write, and writing was a huge part of what I did. And come age 40, I actually started to write my first book. That book opened a huge avenue of opportunity for me. How did Soul Sparks Press come to be? Well, you're not going to believe this story, or maybe you will, but I never set out to be a publishing company. I don't think that was even in my top 10 of things I wanted to do in my life. What was in my top 10 or my number one was I always wanted to be a writer. I was writing from the youngest of ages, and I would write everything, and I continued writing all throughout my life, whether it was the high school newspaper. I did an internship with the San Diego Union Tribune. I was writing in college, and I always wanted to be a journalist on television. But back when I went to school, that didn't seem like a very feasible career because there weren't a lot of people who looked like me, Indian females, doing the television news. In fact, there was nobody even on mainstream television as a character who was from an Indian background. So it seemed a little too far-fetched, but I never gave up my love of writing. I went on to have a really illustrious Silicon Valley consulting career, but I always loved to write, and writing was a huge part of what I did. And come age 40, I actually started to write my first book. That book, Hello Universe, It's Me, was published when I was 43. And that opened a huge avenue of opportunity for me. And this is what I want everyone to know out there. Whether you have a fan following, whether you have a huge Instagram presence or not, actually doesn't matter. I released Hello Universe, It's Me, my debut book, with 300 followers and a lot of gumption that I was going to figure out a way for this book to get seen and noticed. And I did. That book went on to win 6 awards, opened doors for a TV show in Australia, and so many other opportunities that kept coming from there, all the way to my own publishing company, Soul Sparks Press. But the way Soul Sparks Press actually came into existence is a little funny. I was working out with Eric Bigger. Eric is a former contestant on The Bachelorette. He is a reality TV star and a personal trainer. And he and I would do these amazing workouts for over an hour at a time. And one day I was like, this method is just so good. You've got to write a book about it. And he looked at me and said, if you do it with me, I'll do it. And I said, let's go. That moment was the start of Soul Sparks Press. He was our very first author, and now we are close to 100 authors at Soul Sparks Press. So we didn't come from a big strategic plan, setting out to build a business, coming up with all the ways that we would do it. It quite literally landed in my lap, and then it went beautifully forward from there.